What is up, guys? I hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're tackling some rSlash entitled parents. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. And when you do click the notification bell, don't forget to put it to always on, otherwise YouTube won't notify you. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Bludgeoner V. Insane mum feeds her kids a stranger's food, yells abuse and causes child abusers when she gets more than she bargained for. This happened a little more than an hour ago. EM is my flatmate's sister. She stopped by to pick up some things their parents had left here and brought her 5-year-old with her. There was fried chicken resting on the countertop that I was preparing for lunch, and without thinking or asking anyone if she could have any, she took a piece and fed it to her child. This was a huge fucking mistake. I'm a pepperhead and this batch of fried chicken was designed to be a struggle for me. The marinade had ghost pepper sauce in it, the flour and breadcrumbs were loaded with cayenne pepper and chili powder, and the oil sauce was made with more of the ghost pepper sauce. Absolute fucking madness. I'm upstairs trying to avoid EM. She'd be unpleasant company even when comatose, when I hear all hell break loose down below. The kid is in absolute agony, crying at the top of her lungs, and EM is screaming her head off. I pop down to see what the hell is going on. Flatmate is trying to relieve the kid with ice cubes and milk, while EM is letting loose about how we hurt her baby. I ask what happened. EM says kid climbed up and got the chicken and starts berating us about how dangerous it was to leave spicy food around small kids. Flatmate calls her bullshit and says there is no way the kid got up here. Chicken was all the way at the back. After denying it, she eventually slips and says something like, "How was I supposed to know?" We press her on why she thought she could just go and take food that didn't belong to her and give it to her kid. She's got no idea what's in it, etc. And she starts into some hysteric crying / screaming routine, calling flatmate irresponsible, accusing of child abuse, we've ruined her day when she just wants to see her brother. People are going to think she's hit her kid. Wouldn't surprise me. She was doing us a favour picking up the stuff her parents left. She wasn't, it was her old stuff, and then proceeds to throw a box against the wall. By this point she's so out of control she's actually got snot coming out of her nose. She takes the ice and milk off the kid who is in complete agony and storms off to the car, dragging the poor kid along with her. It was an interesting afternoon. 5/7 chicken though. Chicken sounds good, it's made me hungry already. I mean, it's only like 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm hungry for chicken. Great story, absolutely loved it. Our next story is from My Mum is Entitled. EM is forcing me to marry cousin to make her a US citizen. I was going to post this on my main account before I came to my senses. This isn't really a throwaway, but more account I use to share stories of my entitled family. Mum. Before you call bullshit and start joking around saying sweet home Alabama. 1. Believe me, I wish this was bullshit, but unfortunately it's an actual situation I'm facing. 2. We're Dominican, don't know if that changes everything. 3. I hate that song. I'm 20 and male, cousin is 19 and female. Spanish was my first language. I have a third cousin in the Dominican Republic. They are not well off in that country, and her mum is a little neglectful. At this point it feels like my mum cares more about her than me, but whatever. She deserves it. She's a good kid who does well in school and wants to move to the US to go to nursing school. She can't, however, because she isn't a legal citizen. My mum decided that would be the best plan for me to go to the Dominican Republic in June or July and marry my third cousin to make her legal. She brought this up a few years ago and I thought she was joking. Apparently she wasn't, because recently she brought this plan up again, but she's actually talking about how she's already booked flights for the Dominican Republic and shit. What the fuck? I'm in a relationship already. My mum literally told me that she doesn't give a fuck about my personal life. All she cares about is going to the Dominican Republic and forcing me to marry my cousin. Thankfully, I talked about the plan with my significant other, and they are supportive. Due to the pandemic and not knowing if it's going to get worse, I think it's safe to say we're not flying out there. But for my mum, for some reason, still acts like we are still going. Basically, I marry her and stay married for a year, then we divorce amicably. My mum pockets any money that's made from this, if any. When I tried to downright refuse this was met with screaming, physical anger and threats to kick me out. I'm afraid to go to any family members because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, for one, that's hugely illegal, so yeah, there is that. And that mum is insane to put you through that kind of situation. Wow. I think she just needs to be told straight, no, you're not doing it, even if it risks getting you kicked out, because there's no way you can do that. I think that's like a federal offence and get you some serious jail time by doing so, and a huge fine. Absolutely ruin your life. So just don't even consider it, man. Our next story comes from Northern Monkey. Beautiful baby ducklings manhandled by EM's disgusting brats. This happened when I was having a cigarette in a quaint country pub garden in the east of England. The place is stunning countryside dotted with local pubs. Everyone knows who is local. Every summer the pubs are filled with rude, disgusting Londoners and their brats. Story time. I've been out in the lovely flowered pub garden a few times already, as I was drinking beers on a gorgeous sunny afternoon with friends. I chain smoke when I drink. Every time I went out I was thrilled to see a lovely white mother duck tending to her baby ducklings. There are about 7 of them, and the pub staff explain that the mum duck comes back each day to get food from the staff members and to chill in the sun with her fluffy ducklings. I'm back in the pub with mates and hear an EM and her 4 snotty, loud, disgusting brats enter. They proceed to make loads of noise and generally ruin the vibes. We ignore them. After a while I walk outside for my final smoke and I'm followed by EM and her brats. It turns out EM smokes too. We both light up and ignore each other, and immediately her brats spot the mother duck and her babies. They all squeal and run over to the birds. To be honest, they were so loud, I looked at the mum already expecting her to say something reasonable like, "Calm down guys, you don't want to scare the babies." But instead, she just watched her brats fondly. I watched the mother duck panic and tried to usher her babies away from EKs, but they all ran up and surrounded the birds, trapping them in a corner by the wall. Then they proceed to start grabbing the babies and roughly picking them up. The mother duck and her babies start to quack in panic. Outraged, I looked at EM and see she is still smiling at her brats as if this is the sweetest thing in the world. So I turn back to the EKs and shout, "Don't touch the babies, just look at them." EM turns to me with a screwed up face and says, "How dare you speak to my children like that? They aren't doing any harm." I look back and see all EKs still grabbing at the babies and distressing the mum. One of the EKs is even picking up a baby duckling by its wing. "Put those fucking babies down now, you little shits." The mum turns to me with a death stare and starts to say, "If you talk to my babies like that again." At this point, I look at her with an even deadlier stare and I say in a shaking voice, "That duck is a mother too, and if you don't do something I will manhandle your babies, the way they handle hers." The mother looked at me like she was going to argue, but saw I wasn't kidding. She shouted her brats over and stormed inside. I finished my cigarette and watched the ducks leave the garden looking panicked. When I got back to my table, my mate said the woman was making a complaint about me to the bar staff. They came over and said that EM told them I threatened her kids. I told them her EKs were grabbing the ducklings and I politely asked them to stop. I denied the threat. They asked EM whether her brats had grabbed the ducklings and she said they only wanted to hold them, they wouldn't hurt a fly. The bar staff told her and her brats to leave, and when she kicked up a fuss they said, "Those ducks are locals, lady, fuck off." Damn, I hope those ducks don't become like too traumatized and actually do come back to that pub, because it sounds like they're like local celebrities kind of thing. And we got pubs like that in our area which are very much the same. You get the same ducks every year turning up, and we're in the middle of a sort of town, so but yeah, what a shitty Karen. Our next story comes from That One Nerd. You're shopping for someone else? Yeah, right. So, some context, because of this pandemic, 2 families within my family's friend group are unable to leave their houses due to one or more of them being immunocompromised. One of the families, A, gets groceries delivered to their house, but sometimes my mum and I will go buy stuff for them. But the other family, B, which consists of 2 people, don't go through as much food and they had a ton saved up. So when they need something, my mum and I will go and buy it for them. This story is about family B. Last week my mum sent me to the store to not only pick up shopping for our family, but for family B too. One of the items on the list was hand sanitizer, and because some people are crazy, they will do anything to get the sanitizer. I went into the store, fully expecting there not to be any left, but was able to find some, albeit small bottles of hand sanitizer. Now, the sign said 1 bottle per household, and I had asked the store employee if it'd be alright if I got 2, one for my family and one for family B. I got the okay and continued to shop. As I was looking for bagels, the bread section was torn apart and things were literally everywhere. This woman, EM, comes up to me and taps me on the shoulder. Me, somewhat freaked out, as I didn't see her coming up behind me. "Sorry, I'll move in a bit." She said, "Why do you have 2 bottles of hand sanitizer in your cart? It's 1 per family." I said, "I'm shopping for 2 families right now." I find the bagels I was looking for, put them in my cart, and then started on getting shopping for family B, walking away from the EM as I pulled up the list. EM said, "Hey!" She grabs me by the shoulders and yanks me away from my cart. "You can't have 2 bottles of hand sanitizer, it's 1 per family." I'm shaken up as I don't like being grabbed by strangers. And I said, "I'm shopping for 2 families." The EM looks at my cart and scoffs. She reaches in and grabs one of the bottles of hand sanitizer. "Like hell you are, I need this for my family and there's none left, so I'll be taking this." I grab her arm and yank the bottle from her grasp, put it back in my car and start walking off. Ian shouts, "Stop her! She stole from me! Thief! Someone stop her!" A store employee stops me and asks what happened. "That child," pointing at me, "is taking 2 bottles of hand sanitizer for one family, and there's none left and I need one." I said, "First off, I'm not a child. Second off, I'm shopping for a family friend who can't leave their house due to a compromised immune system." The store employee, SE, sighs. "Okay, Mom," referring to me, "you can go. Sorry for the inconvenience." I leave, but as I am, I hear the entitled mother yelling and berating the store employee. I finished shopping and left the store. Family B was very happy to finally have some hand sanitizer, and so was my mum. I love the first comment on this one. "What type of bagel did you get?" But there was no mention at all about social distancing. That woman should have been kicked out immediately. She touched you. She grabbed you. That's not on at the moment. Oh, God. Karens would be crazy. Our next story comes from Random Mallow. My dad was looking through very private files. I edited this one with better punctuation and better details, so my last post had a lot of grammatical errors. So in this post, I'm going to fix those. There's no need to put the names. This happened yesterday. Me and my dad were having an argument about my private files for school and other works. I was using my phone to chat with my teachers and friends, as well as scroll through Reddit a bit. He usually watches drama movies and shows on my computer, so I didn't pay any attention. I like watching drama as well, so I checked up on him to see what he was watching. Now, I didn't really mind him looking at my files since I had nothing to hide, but nowadays I've gotten more anxious about my works since I don't know how people would react to them, so I usually hide them in one of my folders for school. These were also private files, meaning the school owns them. Without the school's consent, no one else is allowed to look through them. I don't really know their policy on guardians or parents, but usually they would tell us to store them so no one else could see them. When I told him that those were private files and he didn't have permission to look through those like he usually does, with my mum's phone and mine, we usually take mine and my mum's phone while we weren't looking and scourge our files, games, apps and messages. For some reason he never listens to me when I say he can't simply look at everything without permission from me or my mum. I live in another country, so I don't know what rules you have in your countries about this kind of thing. To be honest, I don't even know the rules in mine. Me and my dad get into arguments a lot about things like this. We got into an argument about my files and privacy. He slapped me and told me he has the right to because he paid for my school tuition, which practically just pays for the services. He also gets mad at me when I try to say that anything's against his ideals. That's practically the end of the story. I don't remember much from that day anymore, so I just moved on. Control freak! Going through yours and your mum's personal stuff. Yes, that sounds like a healthy relationship right there. What a guy, man. What I would suggest straight away though is you password your folders on those sort of things. You can get password apps on your both computers and phones. You can lock files up. So I suggest getting that done straight away so he can't access it. He has no right to access your stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's stories. If you did, there's 2 more on your screen right now. It'd be hugely appreciated if you was to watch a playlist. It hugely helps out the good old algorithm. And if you have a moment of your day and you do enjoy this content, please consider hitting that subscribe, turning the notifications to always on, and liking the video too, as it will truly help me out. And with that being said, thank you for being here. Much love to you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now.